Let's be real for a minute. Have you ever been sitting in your car? Maybe it's a Tuesday night after work, just sitting in the driveway. The house is right there. The people you love are inside. But you can't quite bring yourself to open the door just yet because you're feeling heavy. And maybe you're looking down at your hands on the steering wheel and they just don't look the same as they used to. Your mind flashes back 15, maybe 20 years to that younger version of you, the one who started this career, the one who bought this house. What would that person think of you now? Would they be proud? Or would they look at you and ask, is this it? Is this where all that grinding was supposed to lead? We're supposed to have it all figured out by now, aren't we? If you're in your late 40s or your 50s, you are statistically in the highest earning years of your life. You have the experience, you have the title. You might even have the nice cars and the retirement account that's doing okay. So why, when you look in the mirror, does that person look so tired? Why does the thought of doing exactly this for another 15 or 20 years feel like a sentence? If you are feeling a strange, quiet panic about your money and your time, if you're looking at your portfolio and it seems solid, but you feel completely empty, you are not alone, and you're not going crazy. You have just hit a wall. And today, we need to talk about what that wall really is and how to climb over it. For decades, we've been fed a specific narrative about how our financial lives are supposed to work. You know the script. Go to school, work hard, climb the ladder. When you're in your 20s and 30s, the message is simple. Build. Acquire things. Buy the house, maximize the 401k, pay for the childcare. It's all linear. It's all about upward trajectory. More income, bigger title, bigger house. And in that first phase, the dopamine is real. We thrive on achievement. Every promotion, every bonus feels like a validation of our worth. We are busy, we are important. We don't have time to think about why we're doing it, we just need to get it done. But then, somewhere around 45, 50, things change. The things that used to excite us, they just don't. That dopamine hit from the new car doesn't last as long. The gratification of the raise is overshadowed by the realization that we now owe more of our life to maintain that new level of income. We hit what psychologists and researchers like Arthur Brooks or Jonathan Rauch call the happiness U-curve. It's a real phenomenon. Across cultures and continents, studies show that life satisfaction dips to its absolute lowest point in our late 40s and early 50s. Why is this? Because for the first half of our lives, our expectations are running rampant. We compare ourselves, we chase symbols of success, we define ourselves by what we have. But by the time we hit the midlife trough, reality catches up. The job that was going to make you feel fulfilled is now just a job. The house that was going to make you feel secure is now just a place to live. And that aggressive savings goal you set for yourself, it just feels like another obligation. And what most people get wrong about this phase, what causes all the anxiety, is that they think the solution is more of the same. They're unhappy at work, so they think they need another promotion. They feel unfulfilled, so they buy a bigger boat or renovate the kitchen. Their portfolio isn't growing fast enough, so they start taking higher risks in a desperate attempt to feel like they are still progressing. But they're not addressing the root cause. They are treating a spiritual thirst with more salt water. This dissatisfaction you feel isn't a failure, it's a message. It is your deeper adult self realizing that the old game, the old definitions of success, they're obsolete. Your 20s and 30s were about construction. Now, your 50s and 60s are about meaning. You cannot fix this with math. You fix this with a fundamental shift in perspective. When you are in this midlife period, you are financially exposed. You're likely dealing with the sandwich generation pressures. Your aging parents might need financial or care support, and your children, well, they seem to get more expensive every year. College tuition isn't just a number on a page anymore. It's an actual bill that shows up in the mail. The cost of just living, the food, the health insurance, the property taxes on that house you spent so much energy acquiring, it's all higher. And so we feel this tremendous pressure to just stay on the hamster wheel. We tell ourselves, I just have to do this for another 5 years, then I'll be safe. But while you're thinking about your money, are you thinking about your time? This is the central psychological trap of midlife financial planning. We've all heard about compound interest. We know that the dollar you invest at 20 is worth exponentially more than the dollar you invest at 50. But what we don't talk enough about is compound life interest. There are things you can do at 50 that you cannot do at 70. That physical health you might still have. The energy, the ability to travel to demanding places. The chance to start that small business or pivot to a career you actually care about. These are assets, and right now, in your 50s, you are spending them every single day. You might be trading your health and your best years for a 401k balance that will, ironically, pay for the health problems you're developing from working so hard. That is not a good return on investment. Think about the dynamic of your life right now. Let's say you've achieved your goal. You have the 1.5 million or 2 million in retirement. Your house is paid off. On paper, you are rich. So why do you still feel poor? You feel poor because you've optimized your life for a future you can't fully control, while sacrificing a present that is slipping through your fingers. We get obsessed with the numbers. We track our net worth, we optimize our taxes, we obsess over withdrawal rates. But what are we for? Why does the money exist? What is the real job that money is supposed to be doing for you in the second half of your life? Is its job just to buy you a bigger nursing home? Is its job just to ensure you have a safe retirement where you, play golf twice a week and watch cable news? No, that can't be it. The real job of money in this phase is to buy you options. Specifically, the option to reconnect with what actually matters. I'm thinking about a conversation I had recently with a friend of mine. Let's call him John. John is 53, senior director in corporate. For years, his identity was his job. He was the problem solver, the rock. He had that red polo shirt. He was proud to hold that stack of cash. His son just graduated from college and got his first job across the country. And John realized that he might only see his son, maybe once a year now? During the holidays? He thought, I have all this money, but I can't buy an afternoon with my son. His daughter is starting high school. These are the last few years he has with her in the house. And John is coming home at 8 p.m., exhausted, still taking emails on his phone. He's present in the room, but he's not present. He has the money, he just doesn't have the permission. John looked at me and said, "What am I doing? What is all this for? I'm missing the very thing I said I wanted to protect." That's the realization. It's the deep, slightly terrifying insight that no amount of compound interest can make up for a lost conversation, a missed milestone, or a family trip you never took. So if you are sitting with that anxiety, this is what I need you to understand. Your money has served its purpose. You made it through the construction phase. Your old identity, the aggressive builder, needs to retire. Because the problem isn't your portfolio. The problem is your permission system. So what is this course correction? What does it look like? It doesn't mean quitting your job tomorrow, selling your house, and moving to an island. Unless, of course, that is actually your authentic desire, in which case, great. But for most of us, it's not realistic. The turning point is realizing that your money is now an instrument of liberty, not just security. You need to stop asking, how can I have more, and start asking, how can I have enough of the things that money cannot buy? The single biggest mistake we make in financial midlife planning is overestimating the cost of happiness and underestimating the cost of regret. We think that fixing our lives requires this massive, dramatic financial move, a $20,000 vacation, a total relocation, a complete career shutdown. But usually, the things that actually reduce your anxiety and bring a sense of meaning, they aren't that expensive. They just require you to buy back small, crucial slices of your time. The course correction isn't about the final number on your spreadsheet. It is about the definition of your life between now and retirement. Think about the things that weigh on you. Is it the sheer number of emails, the travel, the constant pressure of performance? What if the best financial decision you could make isn't investing in a hot stock, but investing in a demotion? What if you took a role with slightly less responsibility, and yes, slightly less pay, but you got to be home for dinner every night? What if you took a barista fire approach, a job that pays the bills but doesn't stress you out, and you let your nest egg grow silently for 5 or 10 more years? On a spreadsheet, that might look like a loss. Your net worth is projected to grow slower, your tax planning gets disrupted. But in real life, that looks like being present for your daughter's senior year. It looks like having the energy to exercise again. It looks like having space to remember who you were before you defined yourself by your income. This is a profoundly personal decision, but you have to give yourself permission to make it. You have to override the programming that told you success is a ladder and start realizing that success might be an empty afternoon. This is where money connects to peace of mind. True wealth isn't the ability to buy expensive things. True wealth is the ability to wake up in the morning and say, I can do whatever I want with this day. If you are 50 and you don't feel like you can say that, even with a significant amount of money in the bank, you are not yet wealthy, and no amount of extra income will change that. So if this is resonating with you, if you are feeling that pressure, what can you do? How do you practically start this course correction? It begins by taking your ego off the table. Rethink your relationship with work. This is the hardest one. For your entire career, your worth has been tied to your contribution. Your title is your identity. You are the senior director. You are the expert. But you have to decide what your next 10 years are for. Are they for validation from colleagues? Or are they for fulfillment with your family? Talk to your employer. Or don't. Maybe you simply start setting boundaries. You stop taking the 7 a.m. calls. You decline the unnecessary travel. You stop acting like every work emergency is your emergency. You have established yourself. You have the skills. The company is not going to collapse. What is the worst that happens? You don't get the absolute maximum bonus? Okay, you can survive that. What's the worst that happens if you continue as you are? Stress, health problems, missing your life. You can't survive that. Review your true cost of enough. When you were 35, the cost of enough was high. You were building, you were acquiring. But by 55, you should be simplifying. Stop inflating your lifestyle. Stop thinking you need to keep up. Take a hard, honest look at what you're spending money on that actually brings you joy versus what is just social proof or maintenance for your own ego. Can you downsize? Not the dramatic move yet, just can you spend less on maintaining the status of your life? Can you decide that your 5-year-old car is just fine and invest that payment into a travel fund instead? Can you decide that a simple homemade dinner with friends is better than a stressful, overpriced meal out? Lowering your cost of enough is the fastest way to accelerate your freedom, regardless of your portfolio size. Put a price tag on your energy. Think about the tasks in your life that you hate, the ones that drain your battery. Cleaning the house, mowing the lawn, navigating the logistics of a home repair. This is where money, used properly, can make you profoundly richer in spirit. Spend money to buy back the time that causes you the most anxiety. You don't have to be a billionaire to hire a cleaning service twice a month. You don't have to be rich to outsource the mental burden of finding and scheduling a contractor. What is that extra mental space worth to you? What could you do with that energy? Could you write a chapter of a book? Could you teach your grandchild how to fish? Could you just rest? This is a real-life course correction. It's not a radical lifestyle change. It is small, deliberate decisions to stop leaking your most precious asset, your attention. And finally, stop asking for permission. Stop looking for the financial planner or the YouTube personality or the book to tell you it's okay to slow down. It is never going to feel safe on paper. You will never feel like you have enough to ensure a guaranteed risk-free future. That is not how life works. You are 50. You are ancient in compound life interest years. You have the experience. You have the wisdom. Trust yourself. Trust the foundational work you have done. You have the money. It's time to start asking it to do its real job. This isn't an easy transition. You are fighting decades of programming. Every time you think about taking a step back or saying no or downsizing, that old voice of ambition is going to whisper that you are failing, that you're losing your edge, that you're going to be left behind. And you are. You are being left behind, on the ladder that you don't even want to climb anymore. The midlife course correction isn't about the mathematics of retirement. It is about reclaiming your agency. It is about having the courage to look at your life and say, I am not defined by what I own, but by how I feel. If you are feeling that quiet panic, if you are tired of the hustle and tired of the anxiety, it's okay. That means you are paying attention. That means your inner self is telling you that a different life is possible. You made it this far. You did the heavy lifting. You built the house. Now you get to decide what the light is going to be in it. This isn't about achieving perfection. There are still going to be bills, still going to be stressful days, still going to be financial concerns. We don't solve anxiety by eliminating risk. We solve it by centering our decisions on what we truly value. Don't trade your best years for a bigger number on a screen. You can always make more money, but you can never, not even for all the billions in the world, make more time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sitting in the driveway with me. It's time to go inside. Course correction is scary, but the most dangerous direction you can possibly travel is the one you don't even believe in anymore. Keep your head up. You have enough. And you, as you are enough. I'll see you in the next one.